As you can see, I'm in Lauritz shop today, and the reason is this 3D copying mill. A while back I was chatting with Lauritz on Facebook, and we discussed what machines we wanted. And Lauritz mentioned that he needed a 3D copying mill for some of his gunsmithing parts. And a couple of weeks later I actually found this 3D copy mill on a Swedish website. The price was good, there was a lot of accessories with it, so I called Lauritz, but he didn't have the money at the time. And I had the money, but I didn't have the space for it, and besides I don't really know how to use one of these machines. So we talked a little bit back and forth, and eventually we made a deal. So I bought this copy mill, and I bought it and I own it, and I store it in Lauritz shop, and he can use it as much as he likes. So it's like a deal where we're both winners. These pantograph arms are the most important part of the machine, and the way this works is you move this around by hand, and by setting the magnification scale in 4 different positions here, you get different scales from 1 to 7, and the bigger part is always to the right and the smaller part is always to the left. So you can magnify, then you put the tracer to the left and an end mill to the right, and you move this around, and you can also reduce the size by putting the tracer to the right and the end mill to the left.
Once we got the copy mill home, we soon found out that all the lube channels were plugged up with grease, and that the previous owner had used compressed air, or well, one of his employees, to clean the machine. So basically there was chips everywhere. You could find them everywhere in the machine. So I spent like 50 or 60 hours taking it apart, and when that was finally done, I figured I might as well try making a simple part to learn the machine. I bought this tool and cutter grinder of the Swedish equivalent of eBay, and after more or less completely disassembling it, I found that the table in and out nut had been welded and cracked, and also that the cast iron had been worn really bad. And we, as a first project, I magnified this up into this, and I've used some epoxy to fill out any imperfections, and now I intend to reduce this down into a new piece of cast iron. As I was cleaning the thread, it looked good to begin with, but as we move into the middle of the thread, you can see it's like a knife point. So they really messed this one up, and that messed the screw up. So we're making a new one. This part is cast and quite ugly, and I didn't want to use the possibility of the pantograph to do 1-to-1. So I magnified it and reduced the ugliness, and now we're reducing it back into a pre-machined cast iron part.
So we have the original here, twice as big. So we have the model we're going to use here, and it's twice as big as the original part. So now we're going to reduce the size in the scale of 2-to-1. And what we have here in the spindle is a 6mm ball nose end mill. And since we're reducing it by 2, we need a tracer that is 12mm. So I made this yesterday evening, 12mm ball nose tracer, and we're going to put that in this spindle now and start milling. So. We set this machine up now, and this table only moves up and down. This moves in 3 directions like a conventional milling table. And we only move the end mill around by hand, so obviously this machine is not made for taking heavy cuts. This crank up here controls how low you go with the end mill. So the plan is to take off a little and then we lower it, and then we take off a little and remove just little by little, and we go down and down, and this will probably take some time. This machine is obviously not intended for a production environment. This is more for making one-off parts with irregular shapes. We quickly discovered that the copy mill is very slow for removing materials, so we brought the part over here to the mill to do the main material removal here, and then we're putting it back into the copy mill to get the final shape. As you can see here, we have this part roughed out, and there's still some work to do before this looks good. Anyway, this was our first attempt at using this Deckel KF12, so we both learned a lot tonight, but now it's getting late and I had to go to bed, so see you another day.